goals, passions, dreams. My guests will help inspire you to find your true calling. They will be sharing their success stories as well as their journey. So watch me on Trending with Suyo. Welcome to Trending with Suyo. I am your host, Suyo. Every week we'll have an interesting member of the Tamil community share thoughts on their career, passion, and lives. These individuals will give you a rare perspective on the challenges and best moments of their chosen path. I hope that these conversations will help inspire you to find your true calling. So join me and see what you learn. So I'm so excited to introduce my guest today. She's actually going to change our lives and help us better our lives and get us focused. So here she is to tell us more, our leadership coach, Sandy Subratnam. Hi Sandy, how are you?
Hi there, thanks for the introduction. It's like pressure's on.
Yeah, you are here to help us and get us on track.
Yes.
Okay, so I did mention that you're a leadership coach. So tell us, Sandy, what exactly does that mean?
So what it means is I work with individuals. It could be, children to teenagers to adults, and I really work with individuals to empower them, like as simple as that is. So I do a lot of work around fulfillment, like what excites you, what makes you passionate, right? Where you get that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I love what I'm doing. Yeah. And I try to work with people so that they can do what they love to do.
How did you realize that this is what you wanted to do?
So like about 2 years ago, like you probably watched movies where someone wakes up and is like, what the hell just happened to my life? And I had that moment. I woke up and I was like questioning my relationship, questioning what I did as a career, questioning like everything, because I felt like God put me on this earth for something bigger and I wasn't doing that. And I felt like if I don't figure that out, I'm almost wasting the time that I have on this earth. So it took me about 6 to 8 months of like trying to figure out what is it that I should be doing? Is it this? Is it that? And the challenging part was after being in a career for like 7 years, I was doubting that investment initially, right? And so I think the critical thing for me is what I did is I kind of thought about what are some of the things I love to do. So I love helping people. I love styling and fashion and like for people to feel beautiful on the outside as they do inside, right? And I like talking to people. And I almost, like the visual I have is I took like a needle and a thread and I tried to like, weave all those things together. And what I discovered is I like helping people and empowering them in their career advancement. And so I did a lot of Googling, and through that I learned about the job title, I guess, about a leadership coach. And from there I did my training, and honestly, after the first day of taking that training, like I knew that this was this, and then I signed up for the rest of the course and, got my curriculum done, and here I am today.
That's awesome. Because like hearing you speak, like when you said just woke up one day and you're like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
I feel like that's me, and there's a lot of people out there, right? That's what the biggest hardship for us is, like, who are we? Like, we want to find ourselves. What is it that we're so passionate about? And it sounds easy, but it's not. Like, you have to really, invest your time and, get into that. So what advice would you give people that really want to find themselves?
Totally. Like I would say start, right? And it takes time. It's almost like you're getting to know more about yourself, which sounds kind of odd because we think like, oh, I know me. I know what I like, what I don't like, what I want to do. But until you start like unpeeling like the layers of the onion of who you are, you start to discover more and more. And, there were things I discovered about myself that I wasn't totally happy about, I didn't like, or I revealed things about myself that may have happened to me in the past that was truly present. And so it wasn't like a fully enjoyable process, but such a simple, easy step, I would say, is to first figure out what are your values. That's actually a really simple thing that you can start to do. So your values are those things in your life that are so important to you, right? Those things that you don't want to compromise on, that are like foundation to who you are as a person. So for me, as an example, some of my core values are family and relationships. Second core value is in giving back. That's something that's so important for me, to give back and to help. And a third value of mine is around like protection. I have this thing where when it comes to my family and friends, and like I'm there for them always, and that's something that will never change about me, right? And so just by starting to figure out what are those 3 to 5 values that are core to you will allow you to start thinking about what your passion may be. the job that you're in today, is it in alignment with your values, right? You can ask yourself that question. And if it's not, that'll help, give some understanding as far as maybe what you should think about doing.
Right. And, I think just like even when we're talking to our friends, it's so hard to motivate one another.
Yeah.
And you probably see so many people that you have to, that are like so down that you have to bring up, like that's your responsibility. How do you motivate these guys?
So I actually don't see it as my responsibility.
Okay.
That's a key difference. So I fundamentally believe that our viewers, everyone is complete, resourceful, you're whole individuals. Everyone has the capacity to figure out how to get to their passion, what the solution to a problem may be, right? For me, I see my responsibility as asking you powerful questions to help you get there. And by doing that, it almost takes the pressure off of me, because I don't feel like I am responsible for this human being's evolution. But by asking like those key powerful questions, like a really good question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or if you were to have all the money in the world and you could just get on a plane and do whatever you want, what would it be, right? Those kind of key evoking questions starts to get people thinking about the possibilities instead of staying in like a 4x4 box that we tend to always keep ourselves in, right?
That's true, and I like that question because there's probably things that we want to do that we can't do because of all these limitations and these challenges. But when you say you have all the money in the world, you can do whatever you want, what is it? And I feel like a lot of their actual passions would actually be coming out when you ask them something like that, right?
Exactly.
Sandy, tell us about you. And do you do this full time? Like, just tell us your background.
So I do this part-time right now. So my full-time career is I'm a project manager in the healthcare IT industry. So I'm basically helping hospitals, family physicians, surgeons, et cetera, move away from documenting records on paper and moving into a more electronic way. So I'm trying to build an ecosystem where information can be shared electronically so that patients' lives will get better, right? And that does align with my value of wanting to give back and help, right? So I do that full time, and I also have a leadership coaching practice on the side. But what I've recently been doing, which is so exciting, is I'm starting to bring coaching into my organizations. A lot of the big companies in the mining industry, in the banking industry, they've already hired full-time leadership coaches to come in and to coach their staff because they know it's good for their staff. Their staff are going to be happier. And as a result, they're probably going to perform better in their job, right? So I'm trying to bring that into my company, and we just started a pilot program 3 weeks ago. So I'm starting with 6 individuals over 6 months, and we'll see where it goes.
Wow, that's amazing. Good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, like, you help us be a better us. What does Sandy do when, you're feeling down or you're having those days where, you're not motivated? Do you feel like those ever?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I may be a coach, but I'm a human, right? I don't have everything figured out. And I do have those moments where sometimes I just feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on, or I don't feel that sense of excitement. And usually what I tend to do is do a couple of exercises to help ground me as a person. So some of the things I do is I like to think about things that I'm grateful for. I find whenever I just ask myself that question, then I go to my family, my husband, like all these things, and it just makes me feel a lot better than what I maybe have feeling before. And the second thing, breathing really helps. So I don't meditate. I've tried to meditate. But what I've been doing instead is just like taking a few deep breaths. And the slower the breath, I'm able to almost connect my brain to my soul, as funny as that may sound. And that allows me, with the connection of what I'm grateful for, allows me to kind of move past that feeling of, I don't feel motivated, I feel sad, or whatever that may be.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
How do you take these breaths so we can follow along?
Do you want to take a breath
yes,
with me?
Let's go. Let's
take
do
a
this
breath.
right now.
Okay. So what we do is we close our eyes.
Okay.
Okay. And we take a couple small breaths. And as you take your inhale, you're going to inhale all of the good and positivity. And exhale all of the negativity, the stress, all the feelings that you may have that you just want to get rid of. So let's do that again. Okay. Inhale the positivity and exhale all the negative feeling. Doesn't that feel good?
That feels great.
Yep.
So bye-bye negativity. Thanks, Sandy. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back to talk more with Sandy. Trending with Suyo. Trending with Suyo. Thanks for coming back. You're here with me, Suyo, on Trending with Suyo, and I'm here talking to Sandy, who's just helped me breathe and send out all my negativity out of this world.
Great.
So Sandy, tell us, how can we get help from you on a personal level?
Definitely. So you can contact me through two methods.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram. My username is consult.sandy, so CONSULT.sandy. So link me there. You can send me a private message. I'm on it regularly, so I'll respond. Mm-hmm. Or you can email me as well. And I know it'll be displayed at the bottom, but my email is sandra.sabaratnam@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Do you give private classes, one-on-one, or I mean like a group session?
So I do a bit of both.
Okay.
With most of my clients, they prefer one-to-one. That way we can really hone in on, what are those things that are stopping you from moving ahead. I've also done a number of group workshops. So I've done actually a workshop on values discovery. I've done a workshop on, work-life balance, but those are more like topics that I'll do, when I'm being asked to do it, kind of thing. I really love working with people one-on-one, and I feel like people get the most out of it through that.
Yeah, and I feel like people will open up to you more, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably hold back a little bit when it's like a group of strangers.
Yeah, because
right?
you're sometimes sharing, and there's tears that happen. People cry. There's anger. There's frustration that kind of comes out through the coaching, and it's just,
well, you're obviously changing so many lives. What's the most memorable experience that you had, or like, something that a client has come back to you and said something that you'll never forget?
Yeah, I'm actually, thinking of a recent example. I feel so lucky to be in this profession, to be honest with you. Every time I meet with a client, it's just, it's such an honor, like a sacred place for someone to open up and share with me about what's going on with their life, right? And so at any coaching moment, whenever my clients have this aha moment of, wow, I didn't see it that way, or wow, you've really changed my perspective on this, it's been truly rewarding. I think a great example is I've been working with a client for the last year, and we've been doing a lot of work around, she's an entrepreneur and like different businesses that she may want to tap into, right? And she's been trying to figure out what exactly was her passion. And probably 6 months into it, I just called out what I thought her passion was, which is she's an idea generator, right? And at that moment, there was this huge switch that went on in her head, and she was like, oh my gosh, Sandy, like, thank you for saying that. Like, I've been thinking of that, and I've talked to people about this as a passion, but everyone said that you can't have a passion like that. It has to be more concrete. And so since then, she's had so much more clarity and more confidence in what she's doing, because she can articulate what her passion is, her life purpose, and so that's been like a life-changing moment for her. So it's been awesome.
How do you feel about you having part in that?
It feels so wonderful, but I'm more excited for her and what's going to come for her, so, yeah.
Sandy, you know what the thing is, like, growing up, I found that, especially in my time, like, my parents were new to the country, and, they didn't know how to guide us in the right direction. There was no resources, really, right? It's gotten so much better now. So what do you think, like, where can we reach out to people like you, or even, like, resources out there? Because even for me, I came across you through Instagram, right? Social media nowadays are helping us out a lot.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us more about that? Like, where can we find more resources?
Yeah, I would say Google, to be honest with you. Like, I do a lot of Googling about, I don't feel motivated, what can I do? Or when I was looking for my passion, like when I talked about 2 years ago when I woke up, I Googled, how do I figure out my passion? And I did a bunch of exercises that I found. And through that, one of it was list your passions and then take a needle and thread, right? So Google honestly is the best place to like find resources. I have like tons of books that I've been reading that I've found, they're more like self-help, coaching books, and they've really helped me through different things. So like books is another great resources. And oftentimes when you type in a question into Google, or Amazon will come up with some top books, and they've been pretty working out well for me.
Really?
Yeah.
And I would say like the main core of this show is for people to find their passion. So you are like perfect in this, in this show. And the thing is like, what would you tell our viewers who are out there watching that are doing the whole 9 to 5, who are like just stuck in that job that they don't want to, and they just don't know how to get out of it and find themselves and get motivated? What would you tell them?
I think what I would tell, and I've been there, right? Like we've all kind of been there, is to start with baby steps. Like first step is recognizing that you're in a place that you don't want to be, right? And the second step is to explore, talk to people, right? Try to find out what it is you're passionate about by talking to people. Does what they're doing excite you? If that doesn't really help you out, I really go back to the foundation of figuring out what your values are, right? And figuring out what are those 5 things that you love to do, right? That really excites you. And then think about how can you bring all of it together, and what would that be?
How important do you think it is to follow your dreams?
It's so important. I feel like, because I've been through a 2-year period where I felt like I was just doing a 9 to 5, even though my company's fantastic and the job opportunity is fantastic. But when you're mentally not there, right, it felt like I was just doing a 9 to 5, and it's very demotivating, right? And because it's so demotivating, my performance wasn't as great as it is today. I wasn't passionate. I wasn't excited, positive. Like it affected my mental health. It affected me physically as well, because I just didn't even feel motivated to work out or any of that kind of thing, right? So I think it's so important for us as humans to kind of, because we were put on this planet for a certain reason, right? And it's to figure out what that is, and to know that by doing that, we're going to have far greater impact on this world than if we kind of stay with what we're doing today.
That's true. And Sandy, like, what about those people that don't want to get professional help, and they're just watching today and they're like, okay, can you give us some tips that we can do at home to kind of motivate ourselves whenever we feel down, rather than actually seeking help? Because not everybody is comfortable enough to do that, right?
Totally.
So what steps or tips would you give?
I love journaling. Yeah. I don't journal as much as I wish I could, but I love journaling, and I feel like it's a great tool. It's just you and the book, right? To kind of express how you're feeling. Something my husband's actually doing right now is, it's called mindless journaling. I think that's the term of it. And it is when first thing in the morning or anything, you make it a routine where you just start writing for 15 minutes. And the key is you don't know what you're going to write. You just start writing on the paper. And so you might write, I don't know what I'm writing. Today's going to be a good day. And then, but through that, things will start to thoughts will come to your head, and which will come down into paper. And you'll end up discovering by the end of that 15 minutes so much about yourself, right? So journaling without a topic in mind is such a great exercise to just explore who you are as a person.
And do you think, and this is something that everybody can do, so that's awesome. And do you think, like, when people come to see you, how long is the time span from like when they have absolutely no idea of what they want to do to like how long does it take them to reach the level of like, okay, I know what I want?
Awareness of their passion. It depends, honestly. It depends on the individual, where they're at. Some people have a lot more blockers in their lives, right? As in, like, they may not feel confident, low self-esteem, all those things, right? So we need to work on that in order for you to kind of step into your passion. So it could be as little as, a couple of months to sometimes it takes years, right? Like it takes time.
Okay, so that's I'm glad that you said that, because there could be people watching that's like, okay, I've been wanting to know who I am for the longest time. So that is normal then.
Totally normal. And here's the thing, like, I've been doing so much work on myself for the last 3 years, I would say, and I probably know just 1/8 of myself. Like, the things I discover about myself with my coach and my work that I'm doing right now on me is like, oh, I didn't know I'm like this, or oh, I guess this is another value of mine. It's like, and we as humans evolve and change with time, right? So you may figure out your passion today, and I might figure it out today, but that too may change as I as a person change 15 years from now, right?
Okay,
so the key is to always adapt, never get comfortable, and to kind of go, like move with that dance.
Some people hate change. I, for one,
Yeah.
am one of them. So
Yeah.
what do you think, what's the easiest step to like learn to, accept these changes?
I think the easiest way to accept these changes is to think about what if you didn't change, right?
Okay.
So as an example, like I'll ask you, like what if there was something new that you knew you were excited to do, but it would involve you making a change in your life. If you didn't go for it, how would you feel, right?
true, yeah.
You would probably feel like you're missing out, right? Or you might not be doing, like there's this something missing, right? So if you think about the consequence if you did not,
Didn't, okay.
right? Reflect on that.
Right, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense, yeah. I guess it's just the fear of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
So Sandy, now that you're doing what you love, what is next for you?
What is next? I think there's a lot coming my way, and I just don't know what it is. I find it really interesting that I would say it was a year ago when I officially said out loud to people that I'm a leadership coach, right? That since I've put it out in the universe, things are just kind of coming. It's like when you sent me a message on Instagram, I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
But I didn't reach out for that. And there's been other things where it's like, because I think I'm doing what I meant to be doing and I'm putting it out there, that things are kind of
So
coming
just
to
gonna
me.
come. Yeah.
But I do think big picture wise, I would love to continue to coach in my organization and actually build a leadership coaching program within the company to all of our staff. And eventually I'd love to be able to offer that to our clients. And like I also see myself doing more group kind of workshops, maybe like an empowerment weekend retreat kind of thing, you know?
Awesome, yeah.
Or like a weekend on let's like kick all of the negative voices that's in your head that talks to you, right? Like let's like find a way to. So I think there's lots of that kind of stuff that's going to start to happen.
And I'm glad you're doing this because this is something that we can all relate to, right? That we all need help in, I would say. So thank you for doing what you do, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I hope that our viewers contact you and really reach out and seeing how you're such a inspiring person that you'll definitely help them out. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank
for
you.
being here. Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Sandy definitely gave us some tips, so you can definitely try those journaling from home and the breathing exercises.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to keep doing that. So definitely check her out on social media and email her. She'll definitely, maybe you guys can set something up where you can find yourself and find what your passion is. So I'll see you next time on Trending with Suyo. Take care. Bye. Goals, passions, dreams. My guests will help inspire you to find your true calling. They will be sharing their success stories as well as their journey. So watch me on Trending with Suyo.